kcisthetown.com. This is a story about Raeven Parks, 25, from Kansas City. Raeven was a beautiful black queen. She was outgoing and hilarious with a glowing smile that could light up a room. Raeven had the most beautiful smile ever. She was so funny. People loved to be around her. Raeven's goal was to get a college degree. She dedicated her life to helping others. Raeven was a home health care provider, mother to a young daughter, and guardian to her teen sister. Raeven Parks, 25, had just reapplied for her old job at an Overland Park call center. She drove through the snow and ice to find out if she could have the role she just left a few months earlier to take care of some personal matters. She was dedicated to getting back to work. On December the 19th, 2020, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Tennessee Titans and earned a spot at Super Bowl 54. The 9 Ultra Lounge was throwing a party called Sold Out Sundays to celebrate the Chiefs winning the AFC Championship game. Raeven was excited about the win. She decided to go to the club to celebrate the victory. While Raeven was having fun and celebrating in the 9 Ultra Lounge, Jerron Swift, 29, of Kansas City, apparently had gotten into a confrontation inside of the club. He went outside to his car. Then Jerron tried to re-enter the club with a handgun, but it jammed. Jerron left the second time, but seconds later, he returned to the entrance with an assault rifle. There was a line of people waiting to get in the club. Jerron began shooting the people who were in the line waiting to get in. Raeven was texting family members as she was walking out of the club and just walked into the middle of it. She was hit multiple times and pronounced dead on the scene.
We had a massive shooting, multiple victims.
A night of celebration.
About 5 shots rang out. People started falling, scattering.
Destroyed in just a single moment.
She was a good mother, and she was a good daughter, and a good granddaughter, and a good great-granddaughter.
There is someone who is burying a child who was just out celebrating.
A community heartbroken and frustrated.
Another act of senseless violence in our city to take innocent lives.
Tonight at 10, we're learning more about the 25-year-old killed at a Kansas City nightclub. Raeven Parks, her family members say she was a beautiful woman, but her life was cut short last night when officers say a gunman, Jerron Swift, opened fire on a crowd of people celebrating the Kansas City Chiefs' victory.
41 Action News anchor Gabriella Pagan has more.
She was somebody's mother. She was somebody's granddaughter. She was somebody's daughter. She was somebody's great-granddaughter. And now her life is taken, and she was a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Losing her cousin, 25-year-old Raeven Parks, to the very reason why Tamala Smith left Kansas City in the first place. Senseless violence.
I really would just want everybody to know that the violence and the is out of control. I mean, I come from Kansas City. I was born and raised in Kansas City. I didn't move to Georgia until 2003. But I left Kansas City for that purpose because it was so much violence, and the violence has to stop. And it's senseless violence. Something is mediocre as not being allowed into a club would make you that mad where you would go get a gun and shoot 16 people, and one of them lost their life.
Now, the family reeling from tragedy across state lines is trying to make sense of the unthinkable.
I just talked to them a few hours ago, and they're taking it, all of them are taking it very hard.
While making sure the legacy of Raeven's life lives on through memory.
She's always sweet and had a lot of personality for sure.
A security guard inside the club heard the commotion and ran outside to engage the suspect. Jerron and the armed security guard in the club exchanged gunfire. The security guard's excellent aim was too much for the suspect. Jerron was struck several times before collapsing on the cold concrete. The suspect was pronounced dead on the scene. Jerron blicked 16 people before he got stepped on. One died and the rest survived. Just before Sunday's shooting, 12 drove through the parking lot and saw nothing suspicious. They were nearby when the blicking started and responded quickly. A disturbance occurred in the line to get in the club shortly before the shooting, but it wasn't clear if the suspect was involved in that confrontation. People in the line were angry because the bouncer was letting the highest bidder enter the club, while the people that didn't have that kind of money stood there in the freezing cold. The club was on 12's radar because of a drive-by shooting in the parking lot about a week before the shooting. The 9 Ultra Lounge is currently closed. Okay, people should be able to go out and celebrate and make it home safely without being injured. We gotta learn to solve our problems without violence. My heart goes out to this family. Raeven did not deserve this. I'm out of here.
We are learning more about the people shot by a gunman outside 9 Ultra Lounge.
41 Action News reporter Sarah Plake talked to the mom of one of the survivors after learning what happened that night.
Right. All the people who were standing in line here waiting to have a good time on Sunday night had no idea this was going to happen and were shocked when they started hearing gunshots, including the young lady whose mother we spoke to, who says she's lucky her daughter is alive.
She's doing really good, and she's strong. So.
Natasha King's daughter, Malika Collins, is recovering in the hospital. An amazing thing considering what happened to her Sunday night.
She was shot 3 times, one in her arm, in her stomach, and in her side.
Collins was at the 9 Ultra Lounge in Independence Sunday night, standing in line to get in when this man, Jerron Swift, started shooting. The crowd went into a panic. Collins was one of the 15 people who got hurt. 1 woman was killed, and Swift was shot down by an armed security officer.
I know there was a video showing a gentleman carrying a young lady. That was my daughter, and that was her cousin getting her out of there, and he put her in his friend's car.
Another witness there that night recorded the chaos, saying, "Can't even go out and have a good time." King hasn't watched that video yet because it's just too emotional. At first, she felt anger toward Swift, but says hatred isn't going to solve anything.
And his coward actions did cause him to lose his life as well, but he did cause a lot of pain. He caused a lot of families pain, and I just pray that everybody finds inner peace, because that's what we need. We need more love out here. It's too much hatred out here. That's the problem. It's too much hate. There needs to be more love out here.
Tonight, we're learning more about a mass shooting that left 2 people dead and 15 others injured. Team coverage starts now with 41 Action News reporter Sarah Plake.
And Sarah, I know you talked with the man who witnessed what happened moments before the shooting. What exactly did he tell you?
Well, Kevin and Dia, first, police have not said yet what they think the motive is, but the people who were here last night say that they know what it was. We talked to a bouncer who watched the shooting unfold. He says it all happened because of a petty fight. A bouncer at the 9 Ultra Lounge says he thinks Jerron Swift shot at a crowd of people, all because he was denied from the club on Sunday night. The bouncer, who doesn't want his name or face shown, pulled into the parking lot to work security for a Chiefs party just moments before.
All of a sudden, I looked to my left, seen a gentleman getting into it with a couple other guys. They kind of pushed him down, and he got up. Then he got slammed into a whole other vehicle that was in front of me. And then once he got slammed, he ran past my truck and said, "Bet."
The bouncer thinks Swift had run to his car to get a gun because just minutes later, he heard shots.
Boom, boom, boom. About 5 shots rang out. People started falling, scattering. And I was just like, oh, this ain't good.
The bouncer says he saw Swift still trying to get in the club, but inside security pushed him out. He says Swift ran back to his car, but that time he got an assault rifle.
We didn't know what he was going to do. He could have turned around and just started shooting up the building, but we didn't know.
An armed security guard came outside and shot Swift down in the parking lot. Swift was 29 years old. According to court documents obtained by 41 Action News, he had previous gun and drug possession charges from 3 years ago. During last night's shooting, 15 people were hurt, and 25-year-old Raeven Parks was killed. The bouncer says there should have been better security outside the club. KCPD says they were in the club's parking lot and left minutes before the shooting.
I'm actually trying to cooperate with law enforcement and everyone else to do the measures so that we wouldn't have this problem.
The nightclub where 1 person died and 17 people were hurt plans to reopen tomorrow. And safety, no doubt, top of mind. The owner talking about that night and the changes he's made. For the first time, 41 Actions reporter Sarah Plague is in Kansas City with this story.
The 9 Ultra Lounge is opening after 2 months, and during those 2 months, the owner has sat quiet, working on improved security measures that he says will make this place a lot safer, and he hopes people will still come here to have a good time.
Alfonso Hodge just put this message up at the entrance of his club. It says positive vibes, hoping this reminder will set the tone for his reopening on Saturday.
I just felt that the time was right. You know, I've done everything within my power to try to right my wrongs, so I just felt it was time for it to be said.
He's been closed ever since the suspect shot into a crowd of people outside the club the night of the AFC Championship game, killing 1 young woman and hurting several others.
I basically took it personal, so that's why I was quiet, because I didn't want to speak out of emotion.
So he came up with a plan with Regulated Industries and KCPD. He now has an enhanced security system in place, more high-tech cameras inside and out, metal detectors, and an ID scanning system.
Every patron that comes in, his ID will be scanned. He'll be logged into our system.
Hodge hired more armed security guards commissioned through KCPD, 10 of which will be outside. He says that was important to him, considering the night of the shooting, KCPD texted him saying they were swamped and didn't have any off-duty officers to patrol the lot. The department confirmed the text, adding if they don't have the required amount of officers, they just can't do it at all.
It happened, you know. We're just trying to move forward so that it don't happen again.
Sarah Plake, 41 Action News.
The club failed its probationary period, and it'll ultimately be up to Regulated Industries to decide if the club stays open. It reopens tomorrow, and all the proceeds will go to local anti-violence organizations.
Tonight, 2 shootings in less than a year. Nearly 20 people hurt, 2 killed. Tonight, 9 Ultra Lounge sits empty, a restraining order aiming to stop the violence there. As 41 Action News reporter Andres Gutierrez shows us, some say enough is enough, and the bar should close for good.
The 9 Ultra Lounge was set to have another party tonight, but that's not going to happen because of a Jackson County judge. And now we're learning that the club's lease ended months ago. The temporary restraining order is nailed to the entrances of the 9 Ultra Lounge and a neighboring gym, both owned by former Chiefs player Alfonso Hodge. It bans any business from happening at either location for at least a week. Last Sunday, 4 people got shot outside the club. It's the same place where a mass shooting happened in January, killing 25-year-old Raeven Parks.
There's a void that will never be able to be filled because my daughter went out to have a good time.
Her mother is surprised the club has stayed open this long.
It's an unsafe environment for young people. Why would you want to be responsible with people's lives on your hands? Why would you want to be responsible for that?
She wants to see the 9 Ultra Lounge close its doors permanently.
How many occurrences do you need to recognize and realize that perhaps this is not the business for you?